Fabric is brought to site on trailers, and it's loaded like this, and usually they are shipped in fabric is shipped in bundles of 3. You can see certain deformations that have occurred during the process of shipping. They cut open a little bit of the roll to investigate which side it rotates. It should unroll, and after that they decide how they should unload it. Now they are getting ready to lift it, manually lift it and put it on the ground. The roll is around 300 pounds heavy, and they have to maneuver it so that it can be positioned easily once on the ground. They are bending their backs when lifting, but it is they need to completely learn how to bend their knees and keep their back straight. That's another story for safety purposes. Now they will open the fabric roll using a knife. They open the fabric roll using a knife. And start unrolling it and then setting the overlap. This is the full width roll being brought. You can see them handling it. It is not exactly circular, so it is not easily rolling along the ground. And if it is wet, it can be even more than 300 pounds. This is not easy to handle it. I mean, handling one roll may be easy, but to do many rolls over the day, they will do about a 14-hour day of work. Now it has to be aligned with the existing roll. You can see that them moving it. Now they are bringing the gauge stick for 2.5 feet or 30-inch measurement to ensure the correct overlap. Often the longitudinal overlap is made a little extra because it is easy for them, but if they go low on the overlap, it is not correct. But if they go more than the expected overlap of 30 inches, according to the specification, it is okay. But they will end up with getting a lower width overall width of fabric lay, because across the road they should achieve 45 feet width of fabric. So if they go more than 30 inches, they can end up less than 45 feet overall width. Now they have to align it. They kept the gauge stick in place and they found it generally okay, but now they will have to check the alignment again. Now it is not an all that easy job to move that 300 pound roll and inch it this way and that way. Process of setting the overlap, they have to ensure that 30 inches overlap minimum is there. They unroll it. To roll out fabric, alignment is marked on the ground with a paint mark. Fabric roll has to be aligned to these paint marks as they are unrolled. There are paint marks on the ground. As you can see, the fabric roll can get deformed during shipping. It may have sharp edges, not exactly circular. That would make it difficult to roll on site. Now this one is more circular and it would be easier to roll. Fabric rolls can be heavy, up to 300 pounds in weight, and they need to move it backward, forward, like now see they are moving it slightly, inching it forward and backwards until it is aligned properly, and then they staple it along the edge. This is the stick they are using as the gauge to measure 2.5 feet. From the left hand edge of the stick to the border between the unpainted wood and the pink color section is 2.5 feet. So they use this as the measure. A gauge to quickly measure 2.5 feet or 30 inches for the overlap. This is the stapling machine they are using. It can push 6-inch staples through the geotextile fabric into the ground. The specification requires fabric to be stapled at every 15 feet. When stapled, it typically looks like this, a 6-inch staple driven to the ground through the fabric. But if you look at this operation here, you may see staples placed at much less than 15 feet. Just here where I am showing you, it may be around every 5 feet. From a client's perspective, it's not a problem at all. Actually, in a way, the contractor is going over and above the specification. But from a contractor's cost perspective, this may be an unnecessary expense. We are taking bends in a road using straight woven fabric rolls. It becomes challenging because that causes all kinds of wrinkles and unevenness on the made rolls. This kind of wrinkles occur, and if we were to cut the roll more frequently, it will slow down the process a lot.